And for so many college basketball fans, it is the best time of the year. So once again, your boys partnered up with the DraftKings Sportsbook to give all new customers a fantastic offer. Sign up using my promo code DCTV, bet only $5 or more, and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. The NCAA tournament is the right time for upsets. Cinderella stories. Who's going to be the Cinderella this year? Who are we going to look at in the Elite Eight, in the Sweet 16, in the Final Four that we're not supposed to be there? Maybe you're the person that can pick them, and when you pick them, you can score with the DraftKings Sportsbook. Guys, again, all you got to do, go to the DraftKings Sportsbook, sign up using my promo code DCTV, bet $5 or more, and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. So get in on the action with the DraftKings Sportsbook, where the crown is yours. Another episode of Funky and the Champ. I'm fat. Jamal's like skinny fat. Right? You're skinny fat.
Take it back.
Today I chose violence.
I'm suing. Sue them. I had the mute on for the fight. Sorry, Daniel. I did mute you.
You guys are going to be lifetime enemies because of the shit you say the moment you get a microphone in your face. Bro, you're crazy. Hey, Ben. It's been a while. Yo, when was the last time we did a show?
I feel like it's been more than the normal 2 weeks. I could look back, maybe 3 weeks or 4 weeks, but it's all good. It's wrestling season. We're really busy. I get it.
I thought Luis canceled this.
I almost texted you about doing just like an NCAA preview show, just because it'd be fun, and we like talking about wrestling.
We should have done that. That's something we should have done.
Yeah.
Hey, I actually thought Luis canceled this. I thought he got a call from the higher ups and was like, "Funky and the Jam's over."
No, cancel. They can't do that anymore. We talked about this on the last show.
Hey, do you remember? Do you remember? We started this a while ago, dude. We started this show.
Yeah.
I mean,
2023.
It's been over a year and a half. We started doing Funky and the Jam. And then, do you know that they made us do a proof of concept? Do you remember that, old deal?
I do remember that. Well, you had I remember the first time I came on, you wanted to do something called like 3 rounds or something. Where
Yes, I still do that. I do that still.
Okay, you still
it
do
does
that.
well
All right.
still. Well, we would have went 3 rounds arguing, going back and forth.
Yeah.
I do that myself. I need to get back to doing that. That takes some time, right? You got to write scripts and all this other stuff. But for Funky and the Champ, we had to do a proof of concept. They made us do 5 shows to see if it worked before they would start to pay you and everything.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? You don't remember
Our
that?
first show, Luis is saying, was December 12, 2022. That's wild, huh?
That's crazy. We've done 2 years
Over
of
2
Funky
years.
and the Champ. That's crazy.
So crazy.
And also, it's been fun, but it's not hard to do a show whenever stuff like this happens.
Yes.
Bro, Connor is a politician, dog.
Too funny. I want to pat myself on the back since our first show, probably December 12th, 2022. I've been saying the dude ain't going to fight again. I've been saying it for a really long time. I think it's more likely now than ever. He's in the White House being a politician. I liked when he juiced up Trump. He's like, man, I can't do an Irish accent, so I'm not even going to try. But he was like, I like your work ethic. I'm inspired by your work ethic. Like, he was juicing Trump up. It was awesome.
You know what's the craziest thing about it?
What's that?
You watched it. Like, you actually watched it? What are you doing?
No, I watched the highlights on Twitter. You know that. That's what I did.
Bro,
that
what are you doing watching it?
Oh, you don't listen. You don't think that what I said was funny? Like, he was juicing Trump up. He's like,
very funny. But I'm saying, like,
I'm inspired.
Why are you watching Conor McGregor's press conference? Why are you watching it?
No, it was him and Trump, not the press conference. It was him and Trump. It was great.
I didn't see that.
He was inspired. He was inspired by Trump's work ethic.
Bro, so I saw Conor McGregor, his picture.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, where's he at? So then I scroll down and I see that he was at the White House. So I said, this has to be some kind of joke, right? Because it looked like he was holding a press conference at the White House.
He did that too. Yes, I believe.
And I just was like, first I was like, oh my God, why is he at the White House? Like, what's going on here? And then I started to think, oh my God, Ben and I are doing our show tomorrow. He's going to pat himself on the back because now Ben,
Yes.
I'm ready to admit I think it's over, bro. I think it's
But
over. I think it's over.
it's a hell of a redemption story because Connor, you remember Connor was he was the man of the Irish people. Like, do you remember some of those early fights? How many like the whole damn country would come to Vegas for when
Yeah.
Connor would fight. It was insane. Um and then kind of like people kind of got sick of his act and he's always just up to shenanigans,
Remember he got in the fight
beating
with the old
women and
guy? Remember he
he'll
hit
fight
the
the
old
old
guy?
guy. He punched the old guy. That type of stuff. But now he's going to be a hero of the Irish people because he's going to be a populist leader for the country of Ireland. It seems like that dude's getting elected president next go around for
You're a
sure.
lot, bro.
For
You're
sure,
crazy.
he is. He's going to be is it a president, prime minister? I don't know what they have over there. That man's going to be the prime minister of Ireland next time around. Bank on it.
No, you're crazy. But like I think I'm
Come
ready,
on.
Ben. I think I'm ready to admit he's done, bro. It's like he made Michael Chandler. He made Michael Chandler wait all that time, never fought him. Charles Oliveira seems or was saying he'd rather fight Conor McGregor than even fight for the championship.
Yeah.
Charles Oliveira now openly goes, I think it's over. Bro, it feels like everybody is kind of coming over to the side of, I think Conor McGregor's done. But when you see that, man, and we joke about it, right? We joke about Conor McGregor's done, Conor's just kind of, but is it sad that a guy that came on and he was a lightning rod and he brought so many eyes to the sport of mixed martial arts? Is it kind of sad that it ends that way? I get it. He's at the White House and he might have some big things. I can't, dude. I'm not buying into the fact that Conor's going to be a politician. Forget that. I'm not
Prime
doing
Minister of
that.
Ireland.
Fuck. I'm not doing that, man. I'm just not doing that. But is it
You know
kind of
what?
sad
There
that
could
like
be-
it ended the way it did?
Yeah, I'll say yes and no. Who knows? Maybe he turns a corner. Let's see, he's been doing some shenanigans, but maybe he turns a corner and becomes a great leader of Ireland. That could be a great second act for him. There's been other fighters or sports people who have become great business people. But yeah, I was talking to a younger fighter the other day about how fast it goes. And I mean, you're kind of crazy because you didn't start till you're 31 or something, which is totally wild. But it is like your prime for most people is say like 30 to 35. And for a while, you feel like I got forever. I got forever. I don't need to rush these fights. And then, for me, it's like, man, I only fought 21 times. Like,
Yeah.
I wish I would have fought more. I wish I would have been more active. And, I never turned down fights. It wasn't really my choice that I wasn't super active, whether in Bellator or one championship. But it goes by really fast. And so, yeah, with Conor, he came, so fast and so strong. And then it was just like layoff after layoff after layoff. And now he's like 36 maybe or something.
Yeah. He's getting older, but even at that point, he could still fight. Probably can't. You can't fight the small guys. But for me, it's kind of sad because of this, man. It's like when a guy comes and he's that successful and he's that good, you hope that the last time you see him in the octagon is him fighting. Even if, bro, it's him losing. You don't want the last memory of him in the octagon is him sitting on the ground with a broken leg, yelling at Dustin Poirier's wife.
That was preposterous.
Was that not? It was the craziest vision I've ever seen, right? Because it was almost like it felt like when he got here, everything he did was fresh and new, and it felt genuine. And then he went to Nice Connor when him and Dustin fought in Abu Dhabi. That was more preposterous than him. Nice Connor was more preposterous than him doing what he did after the fight with Dustin the second time. Because he was holding Dustin's liquor. They were hugging each other. It was the most odd thing I'd ever seen. Because that's not what we had to come to expect from Conor McGregor. He gets beat by Dustin Poirier. Then he goes all the way back to the other guy, but even more to the right. He was more was more loud. He was more obnoxious. He was nasty, talking about Dustin's wife and all these things. He was more nasty. So then even that felt forced. And then when he broke his leg, he was sitting on the ground yelling and screaming. It was almost like he was a rich guy that didn't get his way and there was nothing he could do about it, and he was acting out because of it. That's like a sad visual for me after all that he became to the sport of mixed martial arts.
Yeah, I mean that was a sad ending. It would have been nice to see him get back in there and do something better. But yeah, so he fought. Dan, I just looked up. He fought 3 times in 2015, and then 3 times in 2016. Right. So that with the culmination being the Eddie Alvarez fight in Madison Square Garden, winning his second title. But then it's been 8.5 years. How many times has he fought in the last 8.5 years after the Eddie Alvarez?
Okay,
fight?
so I'll tell you, he fought Khabib, Dustin Poirier 3 times.
No, you forgot one.
Oh, Cowboy Cerrone.
Cowboy Cerrone.
He
Four
fought 4
times,
times.
4 times, 8.5 years. That's not very active. Too many layoffs.
Yeah, the layoffs and the injuries, and just like that life seemed to have got him. Like,
Yes.
bro, it's crazy because I'm telling you, dude, like, there was nothing like Conor McGregor. And even today, I didn't realize he was only 36. I'm taking it back. I'm taking it back.
No, you can't.
I didn't
Don't do
realize.
it.
No, I didn't realize he was only
He's
36.
gonna be 37 in July. That ain't young.
I didn't realize he was only 36. I thought he was older.
That's
I thought
not
he was
young,
older.
Daniel. You're a heavyweight, so you have different years up there.
He's 36. I think he's fighting again.
I don't think so.
I think he and I okay. Dude,
It'd be
you
like
got-
William Wallace leading. William Wallace, he's Scottish though, not Irish, right?
I'm twisted. I
You
think
know who William
I think
Wallace
he-
is?
No, I don't know who William
Oh
Wallace.
my goodness, you got to watch some Braveheart.
I don't know what that is. You Braveheart the movie?
What?
I've
The
never
movie
seen
Braveheart?
I've never seen Braveheart.
Are you
I've
kidding me
only
right
seen
now?
clips. I swear to God, I've never seen
Oh
Braveheart.
my goodness, you got to go watch the movie. I believe he's actually Scottish.
Okay, so I'm
though,
gonna ask you
pardon
a
me
question.
here.
I'm gonna ask
Yeah.
you a question. Have you ever seen Menace to Society?
I have, but it's
No,
been,
you
know.
haven't.
Yes,
No,
I
you
have.
haven't.
It was
Stop lying.
Chris Tucker.
No,
Chris
you
Tucker.
haven't.
It's Chris
What?
Tucker, correct? Am I right? Chris Tucker.
That's Friday, dude. See, that's how I know. That's how I know.
No,
So
it's
that's
Chris
one of those
Tucker.
things.
I'm looking it up.
Braveheart
I
is
watched
one
it.
of those-
It's been like, I was like 16, Daniel.
He
That
got
was
dished
like
out.
25
Brave-
years ago.
Yeah, when did Braveheart come out? When did Braveheart come out?
Yeah, but you're old and stuff.
But it doesn't matter. It's like
That's
I
the society. Are you sure it's
Yeah.
not Chris Tucker?
no, it's not Chris Tucker.
Oh yeah.
It's Ice
Oh.
Cube. You've
Oh,
never
yes,
seen.
yes.
No, it's not Ice Cube. Actually.
Ice Cube. Oh, who's busting now? Ice Cube was in
Menace to
Friday also.
Society is
It's Samuel. I'm looking at right now. I don't really know these
it's
dudes.
Samuel L. Jackson. It's with Cuba Gooding Jr. Sorry. Hey, see, you can't ask
Okay.
me like everybody's seen Braveheart. When I grew up where I grew up, we watched Menace to Society. You didn't, so stop acting, dude. Like we all see or had the same experiences growing up. Like
He was Scottish. I looked it up. Scottish warrior, but he
I don't know.
fights
I
for
just
that.
haven't seen Braveheart, but don't act surprised that I
But
have.
that's what Connor's gonna do right now.
You're so crazy. But yeah, I don't have time to fight it back. Hey, Ben, I have this
Yes.
next topic I want to talk to you about. This is very important. Like we're hitting, like it's been so long. We're talking about topics that we talked about for a really long time.
Yes.
But I want to tie this to this one. So did you see last week when ESPN, the pay-per-view thing was broken? Did you
Oh
see
man. Oh yeah. That
That? Did
was
you
not
see
good.
that? That was bad. And I'm an ESPN guy. That was really, really bad to not be able to do pay-per-views, especially in the year where they're redoing the television rights, right?
Yeah.
So everybody's like assuming that the UFC is going to Netflix and all this other stuff. My question to you is this, though.
Mm-hmm.
When the UFC sold, I think it was 2016 or 15, it was the same year that and the ESPN deal started to come about. I think it started in 19, but when the UFC sold, it was in 2016, bro. It's important to have your biggest stars available in
Yeah.
those contract years, right? Because then it makes people go, I want to buy this for a massive number because I've got to have these guys. In 2016, when the UFC sold, UFC 200 was there. I fought in 2016 at UFC 200. Brock Lesnar fought. Conor McGregor fought 3 times. It was a year where
Ronda
the UFC
Rousey probably.
Ronda Rousey. No, she was. I think she was still there. I think she fought Amanda
was.
Nunes after Amanda Nunes became the champion or had beaten Misha Tate. No, I think
Not
man.
that we want to get it. I'm going to look it up for it, but not that we want to get a business talk. But I actually think this is a fascinating topic.
Yeah.
I feel like UFC and there's been rumors that they're not even going to do pay-per-views anymore,
which
right?
would
That
be
they're-
crazy.
Which would be crazy because it's been such a staple, and for a while it was such a like this is what you're buying. If you're buying the UFC, you're buying these.
And this is what you wanted
Yeah.
as a fighter.
Yes. Yeah, you wanted the big pay-per-view points and
Yo, Ronda was actually in 2016 too. So in
okay.
that year, you had everybody. And John
Oh,
Jones and I were supposed to headline UFC 200. You had
yes.
all these great fighters. So it was something you had to have. Now, it doesn't seem like there are many of those people that you have to have. Yet, the
Yes.
UFC is as successful as it's ever been in the
Yes.
history of the UFC.
Well, I would argue that was kind of Dana's plan, and it's kind of one I don't really like. I don't think it's positive for fighters, but Dana's plan forever has been to make the UFC this like
It
ubiquitous
is
thing
bigger.
when
Yeah, it
when
don't
you
matter who
turn
the fighter
on
is.
when you turn on the UFC, you're gonna see a couple good fights, and there's a bottom where at least this many people are fight fans, and kind of regardless of who's fighting, they're gonna tune in and watch. You don't need these big names every weekend because one of the things Dana hated the most and he fought against, and this is I can only imagine how many meetings him and Connor have that were contentious, but when stars get big enough, they get leverage and they say, well, no, I want this or I want that. And we see it in boxing where these guys are making crazy money.
Yep.
And Dana never really allowed that to happen in the UFC. And it's one of the reasons that the UFC is so profitable for them and the owners. But I would argue, and I think, pretty correctly, that it is negative to the fighters.
Okay. Like I was saying though, and
Yes.
this is talking like television rights and making
Yes.
the product valuable.
Yes.
With Pereira losing, right? Who's the biggest star and the person that you think drives pay-per-view for the UFC?
But I would argue the UFC's past that. I would argue that the UFC is going to put on 40
There's
shows
a
a year.
There's a person that still drives pay-per-view.
Okay, let me
Who's
think.
that?
So, heavyweight. Oh, I know.
Yep.
We're talking about John Jones.
Exactly. So
Okay.
how important is it now, right? How important is it now? Because the rumor was John Jones was going to fight Tom Aspinall in July at International Fight Week, the big blowout that will sell him boatload of pay-per-view as
Yeah.
the deal starts to get to the end of the year.
Yeah.
John Jones just said 3 minutes ago that the window for fighting in July against Tom Aspinall may be passing because he feels he needs 6 months to
Well,
prepare.
you know what
for
this is? This is exactly what we just talked about.
what?
A leverage. This is leverage. John Jones is saying, I know I'm the biggest star in the UFC right now. I know this is the biggest fight. And I don't, and right, sometimes the biggest fight is not the biggest star, but in this case, it's probably the same
It's the
one.
biggest fight. Yep.
The fight that we want to see the most, the only one that would be second to this would be Topuria Makachev. That's the only other one that is right in the same level, in my opinion. And so John Jones is saying, well, I want 6 months, but if you're gonna make it 4 months, then I'm gonna need a little more money.
He said, "What? But do you think how important is it though that the UFC makes this fight happen now?"
I think this is what Dana's been fighting is. I actually don't think it's that important, and I think
Really?
I think Dana has made a point. I mean, this has been the last 15 years of trying to almost like quell the stars, trying to not let the stars get too big, and like Connor got too big.
Yeah,
And
but see, I got to disagree a little bit
why is that?
because I feel that they did everything to try to push you into the mainstream to make you a star. That's why I was able to do the things that I
Yeah.
did because they continuously pushed me in front of people to make me a star, Ben. And that's not me going, well, I'm a UFC guy. I love the UFC.
Yeah.
I was the champion for a long time.
Yeah.
So I know what they did for me as a champion to try and make sure that I was recognizable. Dude, I swear to God.
How
Ben,
many times did you put Dana over the barrel though and say you want, right? Because I think there's different. Like
Ben,
I know you.
We did
I know
it the same day. You and I went into a deal to make a deal the same day.
Yeah, I know
where
that.
I said I want X, Y, and Z, and they said no. We talked about this where he said no.
Yeah, I know, but we think of like so on the other side of this, you have a Francis Ngannou, which had a very ugly dispute.
Yes.
You had Conor McGregor. You've had the Diaz brothers. You've had
Yes.
many people. If I thought about it hard, I'd probably think of another 3 or 4 more.
Yes.
Especially earlier, like
Yeah.
Randy Couture was a huge one really
Yes.
early on. Tito Ortiz was a big one. And so
Yes.
you had these stars that were constantly just doing this with Dana because Dana didn't want them to have too much leverage and get too big of stars. Right. And so he probably knew you. I'm going to, I don't know if you're going to take this as a compliment or a dig. It is meant as a compliment. You are smart. You are intelligent. You probably knew just how to push just enough to get mostly what you wanted, but not be a total asshole, you know?
Yeah, I get it. I get it, Ben. But
Because some of
again,
these guys are unreasonable. They're saying Dana's
Yes.
thinking in his head, okay, they're getting paid $5 million. Dana's thinking, okay, he's probably really worth 11 million. I'm just throwing numbers out here. And the guy comes back and says, I want 25. And then
Yes.
he's like, oh, this is fucking ridiculous.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
You
I
know,
get it. But
Daniel
some
probably said,
things,
I want 9. And he probably said, okay, well, he's worth 11. He asked for 9. Sure, great deal. Let's do it.
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's how negotiations go. Anytime you have a
Yes.
successful negotiation, both sides feel a little bit bad about the negotiation. Nobody's
bit good,
completely
too.
happy.
A little bit good too.
You feel good about it, but you're like, I feel like I left something on the table,
Yes.
and the company feels like we paid a little bit too much. That's what a
Yes.
great negotiation feels
Agreed.
like. But then at the end of the day, you go, well, I'm still pretty happy where I settled at, even though
Yes.
it wasn't exactly what I wanted. But, bro, if John Jones
Wait,
said
so
publicly,
did you take that as a compliment or an insult that I said you were
uh,
smart and reasonable
well,
and not like
because
some
I'm
of these other
reasonable.
guys?
Here's the
Yes.
deal, though. We lived in a world where we wrestled for $3,000 to win a tournament. So it's like
Less
for
less
me,
than that sometimes.
yes, less than that if you didn't win the freaking tournament. You win the hardest
Yes.
tournament in the summer.
Yeah.
The U.S. Open was $3,000, bro, when we were wrestling.
$3,000.
And
I was
everybody
pumped to
wrestled.
get $3,000 in
And
the mail.
everybody wrestled. And everybody
Yeah.
wrestled. It wasn't the U.S. Open of today. It was like
Yeah.
number 1 to 10 was in that bracket.
Yeah.
So yes, I could always call back to those $3,000 if somebody's offering me $3 million. I'm like, well, I could go back to making $3,000 to wrestle or coach wrestling and make $250,000 a year if I'm lucky and feel happy about it.
Yeah.
So yes, I had those experiences to call back on to make sure I stayed reasonable. But at the end of the day, those guys do deserve their money. And I do believe that because of the work that the UFC does, they are in a position to make that money. Granted, the fighting skill needs to be there. You got to be the champion or you have no leverage. But once you get there, the work that's put in allows you to go, I need 7 figures now. I don't need that. But again, John Jones said publicly it would take $30 million, right? Now he's saying money talks, but time. I need time.
I don't see that as to me, I look at that and I say, John doesn't really need that much time. John's asking for more money. He's saying, if you want to rush me, he said, I prefer 6 months.
Hey guys, it's DC. So you want the best for your family, and I do too. America's fighting back against dangerous chemicals in our foods, and Backyard Butcher's beef is a top healthy pick for 2025. So see why over 600,000 Americans trust the Backyard Butchers. We're talking 100% U.S. born and raised beef straight from the grassy pastures of Texas. Their faith-based America First founders work directly with local ranchers to bring you wholesome meats for your entire family. They have no overseas mixture meat, no hormones, no preservatives, just pure top quality beef. Guys, the way that it should be. So, whether you choose the popular Backyard box or a customer favorite, the Steakhouse box, you'll be eating right. And here's the best part. If you subscribe today, they'll make sure that you get your choice of 2 10-ounce ribeyes or 2 pounds of the Wagyu ground beef absolutely free. Plus, you can use my promo code DCTV at backyardbutchers.com and we'll give you 30% off of your subscription. So that's backyardbutchers.com, code DCTV. Let's go.
I would prefer that.
No. John literally said, I'll read it to you.
Read it to me exactly.
I'll read it to you exactly. It said, John Jones wants 6 months to prepare for Tom Aspinall fight once it's locked in. Money talks, but it feels like if summer is the goal, it's starting to slip away a bit. Money's good. Like, even if you bring me the money, the timing is what I need to fight this guy. Why? Do you think that he's just kind of steering into this whole, he just doesn't want to fight Tom Aspinall thing? Because Tom Aspinall was celebrating after Pereira lost because he felt like John Jones could not use Pereira anymore as a crutch to try to make that fight.
To Tom Aspinall, 100%.
What'd you say?
That was very helpful to Tom Aspinall. I mean, there's nothing else obvious. Like now it's Jones versus Aspinall. There's no other option. So yes, that was very helpful to him. I still see it that way. It's like, I mean, listen, you've done this. You've done something with other people where you say, listen, here's what I want. And if you want me to do something that's a little more inconvenient for myself, then I want another 25% or I want another
Yeah.
30%. Like, if you want me to inconvenience myself and fight in 3.5 months instead of 6, then you're gonna have to make it worth my time. But there is a number that's worth my time.
Yeah. What do you think that number is for Jones?
I mean, I don't know what his actual paycheck is, but I would say, maybe he's asking for a 20, 30, 40% bump, something like that.
Do you think that John Jones is worth paying $15 million?
I would have to know the exact metrics. I would probably say no, and I would go back to my argument
Only
of
Connor, right? Only Connor would be worth paying
I
15
don't
million.
even know. I mean, like, I don't
Connor
even
had a $22 million gate whenever he pulled out of that fight with Michael Chandler
yeah.
on the pre-sale.
Yes. Well, so okay, so there's obviously the gates, but I think what UFC is their work, like you said, the TV deal is going to be much more lucrative than
Can
the
you imagine?
gates. Well, so I think they're saying is like they're probably going to a Netflix or right because that's the big rumor is like how many subscribers can we bring you, right? And so they're looking at like a total of how many how many unique people watch a UFC event through the course of a whole year, which is
Yeah.
all 40 events, and that's probably what Netflix is paying on. So I suppose if there was one really insanely huge event, and to me that's Connor, not John, right? John is,
Well, John
you know,
Aspinall could be that event.
Tom Aspinall that could be a big one, right? Where people who are because you got to think of like what was a really annoying one that was kind of like this.
What?
It's so annoying. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson.
It
Every
was
every
huge,
dipshit on the street had some opinion about it,
bro.
like that they don't watch. They don't watch any boxing. That was the only boxing fight they watched the whole year. But they remember Mike Tyson from 1997, and there's this influencer kid. They want to have some opinion. So it's like that is going to be a unique buy who's not going to watch any other. Right, so it's who can cause unique buys for the UFC that isn't going to happen otherwise. To me, that's Connor or Brock Lesnar, but he's not fighting.
He's not
Right,
fighting
so
anymore. He's almost
yeah,
50, I think.
yeah,
But I think that they need to make this fight. I think John's kind of steering into this. John, I
yeah. I
feel
think
like
so.
John likes to play into people going, he's afraid of Tom Aspinall. He doesn't want to fight Tom Aspinall. When you and I have discussed this many, many times, he's not afraid of Tom Aspinall. He'll fight
Well,
Tom Aspinall. You believe me.
I said he would much prefer to fight someone else. That was my take last time. Like, don't you remember how mad I was that I listen and I like Stipe, so it drove me crazy that I had to. Hey, Stipe hadn't fought in like 4 years.
Yeah, it was over, bro. That was bad.
That was
Stipe got beat
crazy.
so bad. He got
So
beat
I,
so
yeah.
bad.
Oh man, I really wanted to fight Tom Aspinall on that one.
Yeah, that's I think it's important. I think he's messing around with people, man, and I think it's fun for this dude because this dude's made a lot of money and he's been the champion for so long that
Yes.
he doesn't need to fight anybody anymore. Hey bro, I got shit on the other day because I said something about Alex Pereira. I literally just said this. And here's my explanation, Ben, before I
Yes.
let you go. I said, I feel like we've kind of maxed out the weights at which he can go up, right?
Yeah.
Because his power is so great. At
Yep.
middleweight, it was,
Ridiculous.
yes. At light heavyweight, it was still ridiculous, but guys could take shots. That's why Khalil
Yeah.
Roundtree went so long before he actually went down,
Yeah.
right? I said at heavyweight, especially after watching Ankalaev kind of just stalk him,
Yeah.
we might have maxed out the weight at 205. He's too slim a little bit.
Yeah.
They were saying I switched up on Alex Pereira. Is that a bad take? Is that a take
Uh,
for me?
I
Does that
don't
feel
know
like
that.
me? Does that feel like me shitting on Alex Pereira? Is that a bad take?
No, and I don't think, I mean, we've done the show for a couple years. I don't think you ever said that Alex would do well against John Jones or Tom Aspinall. I think we always said that was probably not a great fight for him in both those cases.
Yeah, and they're just too big.
Yeah.
They're just too big. Like, dude, Tom Aspinall is massive. I saw him in England. I was like, whoa, this dude is huge.
Yeah, he's
Big
very
old
big, very
shoulders,
big guy.
big chest, big legs. He's just a big guy. And I was not crapping on Pereira. Why are people like this, bro? And ESPN has been getting your boy lately, dog. They take my stuff from Jail Night Show and they take like a graphic and they put the words.
Oh yeah, they take it totally out of context. They do that with this show too, to me.
They put the words.
Yeah.
Yo, this show gets you clipped off so much. It's crazy. The stuff he said. The stuff that you say, I see everywhere because they take the words and not the actual video of you explaining what you're saying because the
Yeah.
words leave a lot for the fan to interpret. And the fan generally will go, God, Ben Askren really does suck.
I know it's so dumb. Fuck. So dumb. Hey, before we go, we got the NCAAs this week. I just want to know. I want to see your reaction. How pumped were you when Wyatt Hendrickson got Oklahoma State the
God.
conference
Bro,
title?
we were in the you and I were texting and we were
Yeah.
talking about you said, do you support the Cowboys? I go, I never stopped. You go, well,
Yeah.
it got to be much funner this year than it's been in years past. But we were in the midst of going 0 for 4. And then it was, dude, we were 0 for 3 when
0 for
we started
5. 0
texting
for
each other.
5.
No, we were 0 for 3 when you and I started texting.
Yeah.
Because I was texting you about Keegan. I was like, dude, you must be so proud. Because
Yeah.
the dude's on one leg. Right? Dude's on one leg, essentially. He's number one seed in the NCAA tournament. And I knew Dustin Plott was about to get beat by Parker Keckheisen. I knew it. So I was like, now we're 0 for 4. Serber is wrestling this. I was like, okay, Serber's got to get it done. We need one win.
Yeah.
Serber gets beat. So then I go dark on you. You're texting me. I go dark on you. Now I'm nervous. I'm nervous, right? Bro, when he won. So he starts winning.
What about when he got hurt
gets
though?
taken
Then
down,
you thought, oh
He
crap.
gets taken.
uh-oh.
He gets reversed by Colton Schultz.
Yeah.
And then he gets hurt. I'm like, oh my God. That would have been the biggest. That would have been the dude. 0 for 6 in the finals would have been crazy. The
Yeah.
fact that we won the Big 12 championship, and by the skin of our teeth, for that matter,
Mhm.
makes people ignore how horrendous a final round Oklahoma State had. We went 1 for 6 in the finals, Ben. That's nuts.
Not so good. But I mean they had a great tournament. I mean
Yeah,
the
they're
finals weren't great to your point, but it was a really good tournament and they're kind of in pretty good spots.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone can come very close to Penn State.
They're going to
but
beat us they're going to beat everybody by 100 points again.
they're going to win by a lot. I would imagine they didn't have a great they didn't have a great Big Ten finals either. But I think the battle is who's going to take second. Iowa has a great shot, even though they had terrible Big Ten.
They had a terrible Big Tens, bro.
Terrible,
That was
awful,
crazy.
awful. And then Oklahoma State looked good. Nebraska looked
Nebraska
really
is
good.
good.
They're really
Bro,
good.
Hey, Nebraska at number 9 versus Lilladal is that's a good match. Hey,
Yeah.
but you know the thing about Lilladal, though? He's not like a scared freshman anymore. He's going forward. He's wrestling the way he can. That dude might win it. The national tournament is lucky that Richard Figueroa is on his side because Figueroa is a gamer in the biggest.
He lost to a terrible pro. I don't know if you saw that.
but that was
no,
a Big
that
12
kid was
tournament.
not good.
Figueroa.
No offense. No offense,
Figueroa is a gamer in those big moments.
Yeah.
Listen.
sure.
But Nebraska's good at 25s. They're good. They're good at 41. 49, they're really good. Antrell Taylor's really good at 57. 74 is tough.
Yep.
84 is tough. 97 is tough.
Yeah.
Heavyweight,
squad.
not good.
Not very
Hey,
good.
yo, were you surprised at how bad? Hey, bro, were you surprised at how bad Gable beat up on Greg Kirkland? Because there was a clip of like Carter Starachi and Bo
I
Nickam
saw.
going,
Well, posted that.
Gable posted it.
Yes. Yes.
Were you
Gable was-
surprised?
No, you know what's
I was
funny? Since we're
surprised.
talking wrestling now, let's let me get your take on this. I thought he would win. I thought maybe it'd be a little more competitive. I didn't think it was going to be like. I didn't actually think Kirkland had a chance at winning. Gable, I said this. I was on Flow the other day, and I think you could make a strong argument about him being the second greatest college wrestler of all time. He's just so much better than everybody.
Everybody. Bro, he's
Yeah.
the best, bro.
Yeah.
He's the best. I love watching him compete.
Yeah.
He's so strong. He's not like
way
the
bigger
overly
now than he used to be.
tall. He's not overly tall,
Yeah.
but like you can tell he's a man now. And he's like just playing with these dudes. It's gonna be so fun. I cannot wait to get to Philly.
The one thing I was sad about though is I really wanted to see him. I wanted to see him in the World Championships against Zare for a few years, and he's been doing his other thing. So hopefully he wrestles at the World
That's the
Championships
problem.
here.
That's the problem. That's the
What?
problem. Like coming back to college and doing that is fine. The World Championships will be much more difficult because the guys are just way better.
But he might go fight too. And honestly,
Well, I think he's gonna
Daniel,
go fight.
how fast could he be the UFC champion? Like 1 year, I think.
No, dude, you're crazy because, dude, I think
Why?
he'll do fine.
You don't see the way he manhandles everybody?
The only thing that gives me like is Bo Nickel. It's like Bo's gotten so much better, but Bo still needs a little time. And I feel like
Yeah.
Gable would be in the same type of situation just because his style isn't like double legs and stuff. He can't
Yeah.
just like, he's like kind of setting them up with his hands, and you don't
Yeah.
really have the ability to use your hands to set people up in fighting.
You know what? I mean, my counterpoint to that would be for a heavyweight, and especially for a heavyweight wrestler, his footwork is so good.
Oh my God, his footwork is so good. Yeah, I'm
So
like
good.
the biggest Gable Stevenson fan. I swear to God, dude, like it's bad. And then I heard that AJ Ferrari, somebody told me, gun to my head, if I had to pick a champ at 97, it's Ferrari. That's the only time somebody goes, he can ride really good and he
Yeah.
can't get, he's hard to get taken down. They
Very
said,
hard.
gun to my head, I'm picking Ferrari to win
Dang.
197. This is crazy, bro. To
So
me, this is
crazy.
the best time of the year. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how people hate that I do this because I love wrestling. And like, people hate that I go to wrestling. But yo, I love wrestling. It shit makes me excited.
Yes,
Like,
I love it too.
you and I spoke for 30 minutes about other stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have this type of energy for anything else but wrestling. I love wrestling. Dude, it's crazy. I love like the broken.
Well, listen, remember, don't get distracted and just have chit chat with Jordan Burroughs. People want you to talk about wrestling, and if they don't,
Bro.
they're going to be mean to you on Twitter.
I really don't care if they're mean to me. Bro, like, they're trying to get mad at me. Like, Jordan, hey, yo, Jordan was bothered. Jordan was bothered by that.
Too
I
funny.
was like, I don't care, man. I said, people never like me, so I'm used to it. Hey, they like you, so it feels different when they don't like you. Hey, why don't you come and call a couple matches with us?
Well, I told you, maybe I'll come Saturday night.
I'll call ESPN. All right,
right.
Ben, I'll let you go, my guy. Hey,
See ya.
enjoy the national tournament. Guys, another episode of Funky and the Champ from Ben Askren. I'm Daniel Cormier. Peace.
Peace.
Hey guys, what's up? It's DC. Look, I know that you want the best for your family, and I do too. America is fighting against dangerous chemicals in our foods, and Backyard Butchers is a top healthy pick for 2025. So see why 600,000 Americans trust the Backyard Butchers. Guys, I am talking straight U.S. born and raised beef right out of those green pastures in Texas.
I'm excited to come back to Atlantic City this June. I'll be at the Hard Rock Live